Paris Saint-Germain were aiming to record a 7th straight win in all competitions heading into the World Cup break when they hosted AUXERRE. The newly promoted visitors were perhaps looking for damage limitation away at the Parc des Princes. It didn't take long for the damage to start. Nuno Mendes picking out Kylian Mbappe in the middle after a misplaced pass at the back. 1-0 to the champions. And the second 45 would start with a case of deja vu for AUXERRE. A few minutes into the half, Mendes on the left finding himself some space and putting in a cross which was turned home, this time by Carlos Soler. From there, the floodgates opened. A clinical PSG counter, goalscorer Soler releasing Achraf Hakimi, who produced a clinical finish worthy of the team's 3 attackers rather than its right back. His 3rd of the season, but first at the Park. Messi and Neymar subbed off, but the goals wouldn't dry up. 2 of the substitutes combining for number 4. It would take them some time to finish the move. Hugo Ekitike, Renato Sanchez, eventually back to Sanchez. And his shot cannoning in off the post. Still not a first goal in Paris colours for Ekitike, but he wouldn't have to wait long. A few minutes later, pouncing on Julien Jambier and putting it to the keeper's left. Qatar Airways on the hoardings, and at the next stop for many of these players. Whilst they're away, it will be Paris in pole position. They put together their best ever start to a Ligue 1 Uber Eats campaign. Lens had a chance to win a 5th successive encounter when they hosted Clermont. It was the visitors who would open the scoring. Grejon Kay meeting a Saif Eddine Kawi corner, his header going in off the unfortunate Salis Abdul Samed. So behind at half-time, Lens had previous from this position, having won 5 times after conceding first in 2022, and they were soon back on level terms. Said converted from close range. Leon Sotika involved again, had assists in 3 consecutive games, and 11 goal involvements for the season. Within 10 minutes, the turnaround was complete. Another nicely worked move, culminating in a brilliant piece of improvisation by Captain Fantastic, Seko FOFANA. Lens perhaps won't have wanted the break to come in such great form. They'll hope to pick up where they left off at the end of December. Rennes were looking to extend their winning run at home to 7 consecutive matches when they welcomed Toulouse to Rozan Park on Saturday. Midway through the first half, they took the lead. Lovromaya with an outside of the boot cross, which was partially cleared, but only to the feet of Benjamin Bourigeaud, who kept his head and found the bottom corner. Continuing his astonishing run, now a goal involvement in each of his last 7 games. Then somewhat out of nowhere, the visitors equalised. Corner failing to beat the first man, but sent back into the danger area, and Thijs Dellinger making no mistake. But parity only lasted 3 minutes. Rennes on the counter. Dupé parrying a Terrier shot, but Arnaud Calimundo in the right place at the right time to put away the rebound. Rennes comfortably closed out a 2-1 win. They're now unbeaten in their last 17 in all competitions, their best run since 1988. The final contest before the break saw in-form Monaco clash with Marseille at the Stade Louis II on Sunday evening. Both sides came into the match with identical records in the league, but it was Les Olympiens who made the first move, taking the lead through a perler of a free kick from Alexis Sanchez. 10 minutes later, Monaco would get a chance to equalise. Leonardo Balerdi bringing Crepin Diatta down in the box, and the referee pointing to the spot. Wissam Ben Yedder deceiving Pau Lopez with a cheeky Panenka penalty. Audacious from the number 10, but equally effective. Into the second half, Amin Harit sadly forced off with a knee injury that looks likely to end his World Cup hopes. Monaco would add insult to literal injury when Alexander Golovin slipped Kevin Ballon through to steer home for 2-1. Keeper the eyes and inside the lead with 20 minutes remaining, but this wasn't over just yet. Substitute Dimitri Payet prodding the ball through to Jordan Vertu in the box. The midfielder doing brilliantly to get it out from under his feet and level the match. Goal scorer heading for the crowd. His first of the season, not a bad time to get it. And astonishingly, in the 98th minute, Payet whipped in a wicked free kick and Sead Kolasinac headed home to snatch the victory at the last. Monaco's 4-game unbeaten run in all competitions comes to a dramatic end. They'll spend the break outside the European spots as Marseille nail down 4th. Fading Lorient's side travelled to Strasbourg with both sides desperate for a win, but for different reasons. Julien Stéphan's position is under serious threat with Racing still in the drop zone, whilst the wheels had fallen off Les Merlu's extraordinary start. He started this game in full attack mode though, and were rewarded with an early lead through Terran Moffi. Number 10 for the season, only Mbappe and Neymar ahead of the Nigerian. Strasbourg came out a different side after the break. With 3 minutes left on the clock, their pressure would pay off, and it would be substitute Habib Diallo who grabbed a deserved equaliser from a Bellegarde cutback. Still just a 1 win for Strasbourg though, who remain 19th, whilst Lorient's single point moves them back into the top 5. The Lille side looking to close in on the European spots hosted a club with perhaps a more pressing need to move up the table, bottom side Angers, and it was the league's basement side who'd be the first to put the ball in the net. Amin Salama, who made no mistake from close range, but the 22-year-old celebrations would be short-lived, VAR intervening. Offside earlier in the move. In fact, on the end of a pass he didn't actually receive. Perhaps harsh, but the referee's decision final. Salt would be applied to the wound almost immediately when Remy Caber's corner was headed in by Thiago Diallo. Despite being reduced to 10, when Carlos Baleba was shown a straight red for a dangerous tackle, the dog would hang on, extending their unbeaten home record to 5 matches. Lyon welcomed Nice to the Groupama Stadium for the weekend's opening game. Last time out, the pair had been on opposite ends of a 1-0 scoreline, and it was the team who'd been on the right end who got the big first chance. Nicolas Pepe blasting a shot into Nicolas Tagliafico's arm, and the referee awarding a penalty after a helping hand from VAR. Pepe stepped up to take it. Anthony Lopez saved the first attempt, but had done so whilst off his line, and the Arsenal loanee made no mistake when given a second chance. The match began to turn in the final quarter, and it will be the hosts who had the final say. Jean-Claire Todibo fouling Alexandre Lacazette in the box. The referee again pointing to the spot. And in the 89th minute, another former Arsenal man, this one permanently so, converted the spot kick he had won to snatch a share of the points. Lyon are now undefeated in 11 of their last 12 home matches in the top flight, but will enter the break 7 points from the European spots, albeit one closer than Nice. Improving round side travelled to Stade de la Mosson to take on Montpellier. Both sides had changed their manager in recent weeks, but seen very different responses to doing so. It was William Still's side who took the lead, as substitute Menezzi finally found the breakthrough in the 88th minute. Huge celebrations on the sidelines. Drama wasn't over, however. Montpellier's response was instant. Cesar Delay introduced in the 89th minute, and in the 91st, picking up a loose ball and smashing his effort into the bottom corner from the edge of the area. 17 years after his father scored his final goal, snatching a point for his side. Two out-of-form sides met on Sunday as Brest hosted Troyes. All the action would come in the second half. First, Matthias Pereira-Lage received a cynical nudge in his back from Abdou Conte, bearing down on goal. The referee showed no hesitance in pointing to the spot, allowing Roman Del Castillo the chance to send Matthias Liz the wrong way, put his side into an important lead. The lead didn't last all that long. Sitting back and inviting pressure, the hosts were punished on the counter. Yasalucci set free, taking the ball to the byline, and his cutback inadvertently put into his own net by Brendan Chardonnay. Brest would earn themselves another penalty, the man who dispatched the first one earning the second. Del Castillo hitting the deck, and substitute Steve Mounier converting on his return from a long injury. A win that moves Les Pirates out of the drop zone whilst ESTAC are now just 1 point clear of it. Struggling Nantes welcomed Ajaccio to Stade de la Bourgeois on Sunday, with 16th meeting 17th in what was shaping up at this point as a relegation 6-pointer. It was the 17th place side who were given a penalty just before the hour mark. Marchetti dropped in the penalty area. Youssef Belaili not buckling under the pressure, firing low past Lafont for his 3rd goal in 2 games. Left with no choice but to go all out for an equaliser. Nantes left themselves exposed in defence. Ajaccio took full advantage with a flowing counter-attack. Belaili finding Roman Hamouma, seemingly condemning Nantes to a bottom 4 place over the break. But this wasn't over. The hosts gave themselves a chance when Ludovic Blas curled into the bottom corner. Mustafa Mohamed with a lovely flick to set up his teammate. Blas with just his 2nd of the season. And then in the 89th minute, Moses Simon's cross evaded every player in the box and nestled itself into the bottom corner. 2-2 at the final whistle. Nantes' late goal ensured that they remain narrowly outside the drop zone over the break and that their opponents remain inside it. So 30 goals across the 10 games, plenty of action in the final round before the break. Fairly evenly spread too, 9 games with at least 2 goals. Top 4 all win, so it's 5-point gaps between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd. Despite Lorient only drawing, they sneak back into the top 5. Meanwhile, Brest sneak out of the bottom 4. Strasbourg still down in 19th, above only Angers, whose horrible run of defeats continues. Of course, a long wait for matchday 16. Ligue 1 Uber Eats returns on the 28th of December after the first ever Winter World Cup. So a very early happy holidays, and we'll see you at the end of the year.